Surf's up, it's Mauisnake for SkinClub here. I'm going to be going over all of the Cluj playoff matchups. I'm going to actually be going through the veto for all of them. I'm going to give you guys my prediction for every single matchup, and I'm going to even go through the semifinals and the grand finals, assuming that I'm correct about all of the possible matchups. Thank you for SkinClub for making this all possible, and giving me a reason to just record more videos about what I love, which is Counter-Strike esports. So thank you, and thanks to everybody that's watching. Okay, be sure to just check out SkinClub's websites for some of my other articles and things like that. But either way, let's get into the video. Okay, so first matchup, Pain versus Mouz. These are permabans from both of these teams, Ancient and Anubis. Mouz got through the tournament. I'd say, I made a hot take that they weren't going to make any playoffs, but I probably was a little bit too excited to just kind of discount the players on the team. And I would say that I think it's a fair assumption to say, like, they're not going to make playoffs of a tournament that has 8 teams, but then you've got all 5 of the best teams. If you had Vitality, Navi, Spirit, etc., and even Liquid, I think it would be a lot more difficult for this Mouz lineup to make it. But so far, they've impressed, and my prediction actually might even surprise you guys here, because Pain were able to make it through. First big arena playoffs for Pain. Sure, they were in the playoffs of Get Rio. I feel like that doesn't really count in the same way. But either way, veto for me. I'd say Pain ban out Ancient, Mouz ban out Anubis. Pain could pick Dust 2 here. I think that there's a couple options. I actually feel like they both might even pick each other's picks here just a little bit. But Pain, they might even, either one of these might also go for Nuke, and that's why I kind of have outlined it as the decider. Both teams have a 100% win rate with these lineups on the map lately, and I'm going to say this is maybe a little bit surprising, but no, I'm going to put Mouz 2-0. I just think that Pain are going into their first big arena, and even though Mouz are kind of like arena chokers, they were getting better at the end of last year. They now have retooled the Sphinx. I think Big Azera is the better in-game leader, but I think Torzi's a better opper. I think Exertion is a better aggressive rifler, as much as I love Davideus. And I think that the best, tertiary rifler, Snow or Kawez versus Yimpat or Sphinx? Like, come on, that's just, I feel like man-to-man, the personnel is so much better on the side of Mouz that even though Pain's cohesion and teamwork might be a smidgen better, and even their calling, round to round, I'd still probably favor Mouz in this one, so I'm going to go 2-0. Also, if Pain were a team that has been to a lot of arenas, I actually would give them a better chance here, maybe 2-1 or even winning the whole series. But no, okay. So next one up, Astralis versus Mongolz. The Hater Bowl had to finish. We had Astralis actually making it through overall over Big Clan at the end, and the Mongolz pretty cleanly 3-0ing their way through the group stage. Mongolz are going to be banning out Train, it's their permaban. Astralis banning out Anubis, that's their permaban. Mongolz, they could go a couple different ways, I guess, but I think they'll go with Mirage. That's generally their first pick in these kinds of matchups, which I think Astralis is quite bad at. I think that's one of Astralis' worst maps. And then Astralis will probably go with Inferno. That has been their best map overall. I think there's an argument for what's their best map. The only concern I have is for the secondary bans, because I think Mongolz will, out of their own comfort, ban Nuke, and Astralis will ban Dust 2 to get us to Ancient, which to me is Astralis' second best map. I think Astralis' best 2 maps are Inferno and Ancient, but the Mongolz like Ancient too, so they don't mind. They consider themselves pretty heavy favorites in this one, or they should, and so I don't think you should be scared of letting Astralis have their second best map when arguably it's your best map if you're the Mongolz. So I'll take Mongolz 2-0. Only concern is kind of like, this gets a little bit weird. Like, it's actually kind of annoying to say this because they're the favorites, so they should just win. But in a weird way, I almost feel like, you don't usually say this about favorites, but the Mongolz actually really have to win Mirage, because if you give Astralis, Inferno, and Ancient in second and third, I think Astralis can win either of those. Like, I think they actually can. So the Mongolz should beat down Astralis on Mirage. Like, I'm not even really considering that as a reality, as a possibility. But either way, yeah, I'm going to say Mongolz 2-0. Senzu seems back. His hand seems to be healthy. It's fine. Okay, now the next one. I'm going to go Falcons versus Eternal Fire. Falcons perma veto Anubis, so no shock there. Eternal Fire ban out Ancient every single time, no surprise there. Falcons, every single time they can, they pick Dust 2. And Eternal Fire, they are likely the best Anubis team in the world. However, they don't get it because it's Falcons permaban, and that's probably the only thing that swings the series in Falcons' favor a little bit. So I'm gonna say Eternal Fire. They go for their second pick here in Inferno. If they can't get Anubis, that is what they go for. They've won it a couple times in a row. I'm actually not really sure about the decider in this one. I've seen these teams pick some of the remaining maps in the past, and I feel like if I'm Falcons, I might think I need to get an upset, so I might try to lean this towards Train. So I put Decider Train ? And I think I'm just being hopeful. Either way, in terms of my prediction, I'll go Eternal Fire 2-1 in this one. I'm not really sure what the deciding map is going to be, but I think that Falcons are actually good enough that they could win Dust 2 or Inferno. The head-to-head between Nico and Xantares and Banana is going to be really fun to watch. But I think that by the end, Eternal Fire's teamwork is going to edge them out on this one. That being said, Jota's untested in arena environment, so I'm a little bit worried about him. Either way, I think Eternal Fire are the better overall team. The 2-1 is more of a signifier that I just think Eternal Fire is going to win. I think it could be 2-0 or 2-1, but I just see them as the currently stronger team. In fact, for 2025, Eternal Fire has just been elite. That's just what it is. Falcons, on the other hand, they look okay in spurts, beating teams like Astralis, I guess, but that just kind of to me says, yeah, you're kind of on the cusp of being a top 10 team. You maybe are a top 10 team, but Eternal Fire is actually pretty much just fighting with the big dogs every single tournament. Like, they're basically only losing to teams that are in the top 5 themselves. So that's like, Vitality, Spirit. They lost to Mongolz at Katowice. So yeah, it really takes the toughest teams to take down Eternal Fire. Now, final matchup. We've got FaZe versus Saw here. FaZe will be banning out Train. That's been their perma veto. Saw will be banning out Mirage. That's their perma ban. FaZe will be picking Ancient, in my opinion, and Saw will be picking Nuke. Saw keep getting away with getting Nuke, and it's really the only map where I feel like their protocols are really quick. Like, I feel like their communication is actually really on point for this map. I'd say Decider is Dust 2. And yeah, I think that FaZe are just FaZe have been progressing in the right direction. So I'm going to keep this short and simple. I'm going to go FaZe 2-0. I'm really kind of disappointed in 3D Max for losing to Saw, if I'm being honest with you. They really could have won it after they brought Dust 2 to overtime, but couple key mistakes. I just think cohesion is really not great for 3D Max right now. Whatever, they're not the focus of this video. Okay, so let's go through the next quarterfinal matchup. It's going to be Mouz versus Mongolz. This is actually a Shanghai major rematch. Not the same team for Mouz, of course. So Mouz will be banning out Anubis. Mongolz will be banning out Train. Mouz, I'd say I'm not exactly sure actually where they're going to go with this one. I think they might target something for Mongolz a little bit here, because I think if Mouz pick Inferno, which they have like picking, it's actually kind of a comfort of Mongolz. And the Mongolz picking Mirage here, which I think they will, that's kind of Mouz's comfort as well. And I feel like the Mongolz, in a weird way, something I don't like about the Mongolz when I keep looking at vetoes for them is that their home maps are kind of these middle ground maps that almost everybody's good at, such as Inferno and Mirage and Ancient. Like, everybody generally, not every single team likes playing all of those. Yes, like Vitality and Eternal Fire ban Ancient, Spirit ban Inferno, for example, but I just feel like they so frequently end up on maps that are almost too comfortable for the other teams. But either way, yeah, I think that for this series, I do trust the Mongolz more for cohesion reasons, and I'm going to take Mongolz 2-1. It would not surprise me if both of these teams take each other's map picks, because both of them are quite competent on the CT side of each other's map picks. They might get off to really hot starts, and then when it switches to T side, they might just not get anything rolling. Decider, I thought this could be Ancient, thought this could be Nuke. I think Mongolz would want this to be Ancient, but maybe Mouz take it away by banning it. So we'll see. Either way, next up series is going to be FaZe versus Eternal Fire, and this is going to be the third time these teams play each other in a very short span of time. FaZe would be banning out Train. EFB are banning out Ancient. I think it's going to go to the same veto that it did before, where FaZe try to pick Dust 2, Eternal Fire pick Anubis, and then the Decider's Inferno. I think that this is going to play out similarly to the last time, where FaZe edge out Eternal Fire as they are still improving every single time, 2-1. And then we get Grand Finals, FaZe versus the Mongolz. Anubis and Train are out of there immediately. Those are the perma bans. Actually, It's not the permabans. Let me halt that for 1 second. FaZe ban Train. The Mongols ban Train. In a veto, I expect Kerrigan to be the one that says, "Yeah, we'll float our permaban," because he just does that. He just plays those kinds of crazy games. It might scare somebody like Elige for the first time that it happens, because it's like, what if they don't ban it or whatever? But it's like, you got to learn, Elige, that Kerrigan's the master of vetoes. So I think that's what's going to go on right there. We're going to get Mongols are going to ban Train for them, and I'm going to move this up, and we're going to see. I think FaZe are going to go with Dust 2. It's a map they keep wanting to play. I think Mongols are going to pick Ancient. I think FaZe might go for something that's a little bit more in the counter pick side of things than Nuke. Mongols will then pick Inferno, and Decider might be Mirage. I think FaZe could either pick Mirage or Nuke in the second phase here, and then the Decider would probably be Nuke or Mirage. So you can kind of swap those around, but this is how I sort of see it playing out. And for the winner of the Cluj-Napoca, my pick is... It's actually Mongols. I actually think Mongols are going to edge it out. 3-2 seems like a scary thing to do, given that FaZe should be the one that's like, in an arena, tenured. They should be better. But, guys, have you been watching these grand finals lately for FaZe, man? They have a really hard time in high-pressure games. Kerrigan, in particular, in CS2 has been kind of shaky in, like, map 3s and map 5s, deciders. So I'm a little bit worried about them. Whereas Mongols, I feel like their ability to reset is going to be a little bit better between maps. And I also just consider them the better overall team right now, even though FaZe have the better players. Yeah, Frozen and Elige and Brokey are a better trio than, say, Senzu, 910, and Mizzino. Either way. And I'd say I would say this, though. Blitz versus Kerrigan, obviously, I would take Blitz as a fragger. And then Rain versus Techno, probably closer than people think. Maybe slight edge Rain, but that's just for history and arena sake. Either way, yeah, I think Mongolz is going to win the whole tournament, guys. I mean, when I was asked on my stream early on about who I thought the tournament favorite was, I stuck with Mongolz. Nothing I have seen has really swayed me from that decision, other than the fact that FaZe has been powering up. So FaZe powering up, though, will get them the grand finals berth with Elige, but I don't know if it's actually going to net them the victory. So Mongolz, and this would be the most legit S-tier trophy that Mongols have won after and following their Yala Compass win, their Thunder Pick win. And it's nice. They keep winning these like tier 1.5 ones. I'd say this is a tier 1.25, Like, yeah, some of the top teams aren't here, but it's a $1.25 million tournament that many, many great teams are at. And I think it's going to be the biggest feather in the cap of everybody from Mongolia. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, SkinClub, once again for everything. And as always, being toxic is a choice.